Welcome to Media Representation Week. Every day this week, a new video will be released detailing our examinations of the most popular media in the West and displaying how certain groups are super abundantly overrepresented in our supposedly meritocratic system. For all these videos, we encourage you to examine the data for yourself. A link to the spreadsheet for each will be available in the video description. If you have any questions about our methodology, please reference the FAQ, also available in the description. If you find any error in any of our spreadsheets, please email me at leatherapronchan@gmail.com. Include a quality source to back up your claim, and I will update the spreadsheet accordingly. For today's episode, we discuss Tim Pool and his show, Timcast IRL, whereon 21.9% of all of the guests are Jewish. So despite overrepresenting Jews by anywhere from 9 to 11 times, depending on how you count them, this makes Pool's show one of the least Jewish shows we have examined, which was a little surprising to me because in doing this research, I regularly saw comments underneath Tim Pool's videos complaining about the number of Jewish guests he has on his show, making this simultaneously the most often pointed out but least true instance of Jewish overrepresentation. Although this is not to underplay the fact that they still are 10 times overrepresented. Now, there are some special caveats on Tim Pool's show about this 21.9% figure. First, Tim Pool very often has on repeat guests, and the most common of these are all white. Jack Posobiec at 21 appearances, Daniel Turner at 14, Tim's editor Chris Carr at 10, and Libby Emmons at 23. And yes, if you watch Tim Pool's show, you may be surprised to learn that Emmons is not Jewish, but trust me. Additionally, even more so than with these other shows, Tim Pool tends to have on lesser known online figures. For instance, some of them may have 5,000 Twitter followers, and this is the sum total of their fame. So finding any information about them online is very difficult, let alone about their ethnicity. So for this reason, there are probably many Jewish individuals marked as white on the spreadsheet because if I couldn't find any proof one way or the other, I just marked them as white. Now here's the thing about Tim Pool and why I wanted to examine his show. Some of you will disagree with this, but I genuinely think that Tim Pool does not care about the race of the people that he has on his show. Most of the time, I'm pretty sure he's completely unaware. He just wants to have on who he thinks is interesting or who is popular. And he's willing to talk to genuinely controversial figures, like when he had on Ye and Fuentes a few months back. And some other semi-controversial figures, like FBI informant Enrique Tarrio or Steve Bannon. I mean, in reality, Bannon's just like a milquetoast conservative FUD, but in the mainstream anyhow, people think he's controversial. He's had on Lord Miles, the British guy that hangs out with the Taliban for fun. And I think the fact that he has on the lead singer of All That Remains as a co-host is pretty cool. He's okay with edgy statements like from two-time guest Dave Landau here.
6 million unvaccinated, just to be.
I think they'll say 6 million, but we both know it'll be closer to 600,000.
I don't know what that means.
I don't agree with that.
Just stop.
I think we know.
9. So we joke about this, but here, I spoke about this with Dr. Jordan Peterson.
And he even has some semi-based takes of his own that more right-wing people would agree with.
I'm going to be honest. I don't believe there's a such thing as a passing trans person. If you take the Chicago election results map and place it over a racial demographics map, what you get is probably unsurprising. Black neighborhoods voted for Lightfoot, a black woman. Hispanic neighborhoods voted for Garcia, Hispanic. And white neighborhoods voted for Vallis, and some Johnson. Vallis is a white guy.
He's got some bad takes too, sure. But overall, I think he's just a center-right type of guy with like conservative or libertarian type leanings. He's idealistic, and importantly, he does not care about race. But then even so, 21.9% of his guests are Jewish, and in reality, it's probably much more. He repeatedly has on Jewish guests like Will Chamberlain, Michael Malice, and Jack Goldman, aka Jack Murphy. If you agree with me that Tim Pool does not care about or even pay attention to the race of his guests, then we still have to reckon with how the statistically impossible situation occurred. The only other explanation is that he does pay attention to how many Jewish guests are on his show, and he specifically seeks them out. But I think this is very unlikely. So what do you guys all think? Let me know in a comment below. And Media Representation Week rolls on with one final episode tomorrow, where we will discuss a relative newcomer to the political podcast game, Russell Brand, who more so than anybody else seems to sell himself as anti-establishment and free thinking. What will our study uncover about Brand's show? Tune in tomorrow to find out. And as ever, Mr. Pool, I think a conversation desperately needs to be had about the revelations that I'm making in these videos. So if you would ever like me to come on your show to talk about them with you, I am more than happy to oblige.